Your email marketing could be underperforming because the copy is bad, but you wouldn't know because you're a business owner or a developer. You're not a copywriter. You're not someone who writes for a living, sells through writing for a living. So you won't be able to tell, right, what is good and what isn't good. Luckily for you, this is what we do for a living. So we're here to tell you what goes into revenue generating emails. And after this video is over, you're gonna know how to write, what to write in your nurturing emails, your re-engagement emails, onboarding emails, etc. This is the Drop Your Copy YouTube channel. All that starts now. If you think about it, sales copy is essentially what a sales rep would say to any prospect that they met out on the street or in the marketplace, right? That's why what a lot of sales reps do is transferable to copywriting. And if you're a business owner, this could be intuitive to you. But what's not intuitive is how to write well, how to write good copy, and how to edit the copy. If you don't write it well and you don't edit it well, what you're going to end up with is email marketing that gets ignored, it goes over people's heads, and it fails to be persuasive. So it's a waste of time for you and a waste of time for the reader, really. You got to remember that this is an email. All you have to work with is text. There's no sales rep to win people over. All you have to work with is a subject line that arrives in an inbox on any given Tuesday. Luckily for you though, copywriting is a well-established tradition with proven techniques and sales numbers to back it up. That's where we're coming from with this. When you sit down to write your copy, you'll be confronted with a blank page. This would be daunting for some, intimidating for some. You can tackle this and get over any kind of hurdle to write by doing a bit of pre-production. That's kind of like research, but I'll explain. You want to sit and think about your big idea. The big idea behind you is the reason you exist. As a developer or a business owner, you've done some thinking about the market, what problems exist in the market, what solutions are on offer, what problems matter enough to solve, and you've thought about what kind of solution you'd like to see. That's kind of why you've gone and made a product. That's the core of the big idea behind why you exist. But it helps for you to write this down and define it well. So spend some time writing, playing around with the words, define it well in such a way that when you pitch it to anybody, when you explain your big idea to anybody and to your audience, it's immediately clear to them. They feel the need for a product. It should be evident in the way that you define the big idea. If you define the big idea well, you'll also arrive at stats, figures, facts that are important to know. You'll also arrive at certain promises and claims that, hey, this solution will do this in this way. And if you arrive at promises and claims in your big idea, you want to also have specifics. My solution will do this in this amount of time. It will reduce your body fat by this %. So specifics, the specifics of your offer, all of this stuff emerges when you define your big idea well. When you define your big idea well, it's going to make your copywriting excellent. When you're thinking about the big idea, remember that your competitors have big ideas too. So what you're actually trying to do is show how your solution is better than theirs in some way, right? When you sit down to write copy though, what you're going to be tempted to do is make bigger claims, bigger promises than your competitors. That's dangerous because you could go all in on that and end up saying things that you don't mean. You're making promises you can't deliver on, all because you're just trying to make a bigger claim. So avoid that. When you've got your solution and when you're trying to talk about your solution, try to make it a better claim than your competitors, not a bigger claim. A better promise, not a bigger promise. It helps if you involve team members like your product team members and such, people from the product side, to come in, sit in on copywriting sessions once in a while and back up the claim, say, yeah, we can pull that off, or it does do this in this amount of time, for sure, we can prove it. You get it? Then you've got real facts and figures and you're not just saying stuff and being scammy basically, right? So keep that in mind, it's going to help you a lot. When you arrive at a well-defined set of promises and claims, what you've essentially got is something called a mechanism in copywriting vernacular. The mechanism is the specifics on how your solution works and why it's better than the competitors. So defining things early on helps your copywriting later. It makes your copywriting excellent. If you define your big idea well, your mechanism well, you're halfway done with your pre-production for the copy. All of this is going to make your copywriting excellent. What's also going to make your copywriting excellent is knowing your customer really well, knowing your audience really well. So it's kind of like you're building what they call a swipe file about your users. It's just a collection of qualitative information that helps you understand the subject better, which is the user. The user is the subject and their problem, right? So the big idea that you have, the reason that you exist, if it's real, then other people are gonna care about that big idea too. They're gonna be out here in the world talking about the big idea. So when they speak about it, you wanna listen in. What do they think about the problem? How do they feel about the problem? How do they feel about the existing solutions in the problem? How do they feel about the competitors? What are they going through when they deal with the problem, etc., etc. All of that's voice of customer data. You wanna know their likes and their dislikes, what they value, what they look forward to, what they regret. You know what I mean? Once you do this, you're going to be able to essentially get inside their heads when you write. And that's powerful stuff. That's going to make your copywriting excellent. So what it is right, the compulsion to click a link, the compulsion to buy, the compulsion to act is a triggered thing. And the trigger is usually emotional. So you need to understand what those emotions are. You need to understand human emotion. This is where your writing skills come into play, right? It's also going to allow you, researching the user is also going to allow you to know what their objections are, because everybody has defenses built up. When you ask people for a sale, you're asking somebody who's got defenses built up to being sold to, because in the past they've bought things that they regret, or they don't, they have some hesitancy about buying, right? So they've built up defenses. You want to know what those are so you can overcome them. You also want to know what inaction costs them. That's a personal thing. What has inaction cost them? Does inaction cost them their livelihood? Does inaction cost them their independence, the love of their family? Whatever that is, irrational or irrational, you gotta know what inaction costs them. So getting into the head of the user gives you a lot of insight. That insight is gonna make your copy land better. It's gonna make your copywriting excellent. Get your big idea sorted, get your mechanism sorted, get your user research sorted, and you're pretty much good to go when it comes to writing. You've got enough to work with. You've got email to start the writing process. You can straight away jump to the body copy, but I'm going to save that for next. Let's talk about the subject line, because that's where the emails get open. Before the emails open, all they're going to read is the subject line. So this is super important. You need a standout subject line. The user's busy. The user has emails that they haven't read yet, and yours is just another one that's demanding their attention. And they're just looking for any sign that it's not worth reading. You know what I mean? So you have to earn the open. Every single time you send an email, you have to earn the open. Remember, you're working with only 35 characters in the subject line. There's a portion of text that follows the subject line called the preview text, which you can edit to, and that'll give you 60 characters to work with. Usually, the preview text is the first line of your email, but certain email marketing platforms offer to edit that specifically, so you can say something specific in the preview text. So let's say you have 60 characters to work with. What you want to do is you want to pull out a sheet of paper or open up a document and write pairs of lines. The preview text and the subject line need to work off of each other. They're like couplets. And when you're writing, you want to write about benefits, you want to create curiosity, and you want to make specific claims. And anything you say in these 30-35 characters, you have to ask yourself, put yourself in the shoes of the user and ask yourself, what's in it for me? If the subject line and preview text can show people what's in it for them with a clear benefit, create curiosity, make specific claims, then it's most likely you've got a good to great headline. Even having 2 out of 3 is decent, because you're working with space constraints. This is a way of checking if your headline's good to go. Keep it in mind when writing headlines. But what's most likely going to happen is you're not going to start with the headline first. You're going to jump to the body copy, complete the body copy, and then decide on what headline you want to use. Okay, assume they open the email now. What are they going to read? They're going to read the first few sentences. So what's in the first few sentences? You want to lead with something nice, right? So this is called a hook in copywriting vernacular. Think of the hook as a piece of text that expresses something about your big idea in a way that captures the attention of the user. This is about capturing attention, creating curiosity, intrigue, and creating interest in reading the rest of what you have to say in the rest of the email. There's more to read, right? If your opening line is boring, they're just gonna back out of the email and delete it. You know what I mean? So you want to be hooky. You want to have a hook. A hook involves also presenting the mechanism in some way, and so you want to. The thing is, it's like you don't want to reveal your hand. You want to say enough, but not say everything. Right? You wanna say it in such a way that they're curious and they dive further into the email to find out more. That's what the hook is about. You want to experiment with writing this, come out with different angles, tap into your big idea, your mechanism, your user research data to create this hook. Right? So it can be one paragraph. You can have a paragraph that follows below that where you build on the hook. And what a lot of copywriters do is in this section of the email, they like to what they call agitate the user by highlighting how them not taking action hurts them more and such. You can do things like that. But what basically is you want to think about the area after the hook is for you to build on the hook in such a way that you can compel them to buy later. So you want to seed any ideas that like emotional triggers that can be relied upon later when you put the call to action and the links in front of them, right? So use storytelling, empathy building, personal, anecdotes, or anything you need just to get them deeper, more invested, and more in their feels, basically. You know what I mean? So cool. Once you've done that, you got your hook, you followed your hook with something else. Then you move into the presentation of the mechanism in detail. If you've been alluding to like this idea of a mechanism, something that's making your solution perform better than everybody else's, here is where you're gonna deliver the payoff. It's the payoff point. Okay, here's the mechanism. This is how it works. It's got this supplement. It's got this herbs in it that were found in Brazil, and anaconda had to spit it out of its stomach, and we made a concoction out of it. It's freaking nuts. The Mayans used to take. It's the mechanism, the thing that makes it better than everybody else. You want to start delving into that now, yeah? Make it exciting. Your language needs to be exciting and stuff, right? And then you want to give them the offer. Act now, and you'll get the product in this many days for this price. You're going to get these deliverables. And here's that, it's going to solve your problem in X amount of days. You want to start getting specific. Throw in facts, proof, testimonials, etc. to seal the deal and say, here's what you're actually paying for when you click buy. Here's what's going to happen to your life if you click this link and get in my app. Here's what's going to happen to your workflow the moment you click this link and start trying out our app. All of this happens in the offer section. You get it? And the thing is now, when you start talking about offers here, you're going to be tempted to talk about yourself a lot, right? Don't do that, because when you're writing copy, always make it about them. When you're doing sales, always make it about them, right? So the best way to tackle this and avoid any kind of problems here is open up a separate page or document, list out the features of your Saas, right? What makes it great according to you, and then make a separate column, and for each feature, write a benefit to the user. That list of benefits is gonna be now your reference for when you write your offer and you present your offer to the user. Talk in terms of benefits, not features. And then finally, you want to have where you place the link in front of them. It's either a button or a link, and the links usually there's a place to put text in the link, right? So this text, the link text, is also an opportunity for you to be persuasive. You can refer back to things in the hook, in the body copy that have I was talking about triggers, triggering the compulsion to buy. You can reach into that bag and pull out something to tell them, are you ready to make a change yet? That type of thing. It works here at the link level. You want to have had built enough curiosity, urgency, and relevancy so that the click lands well, right? And you want to stick to the rule of one. Throughout this whole email, you need to be thinking of writing to one reader, talking about one big idea, offering one solution, one promise, and then giving them one action to take. There's no data to say that putting more links increases the click-through rate of your emails, or increases the sales conversion or anything like that, right? It's better to keep a clean email that leads to one action, And what that allows you to do is have a build-up of energy that leads to them hopefully clicking the link, right? Once you've written the email, you want to put it aside for some time and come back to it later. So go have lunch, go work out, maybe sleep on it. And then when you come back, open up the email and read it out loud. Because when you read things out loud, you can hear how it sounds to the reader too. And any clunkiness becomes evident. So as you're reading it out loud, start with the headline. Does it have a benefit? Does it create curiosity? Is there any specific claims? Cool. Move to the rest of the email. How is the hook? Is it hookish? Sometimes you tend to ramble along until you say the most punchiest thing in the email, the most compelling idea in the email. Move that to the top. Get straight to the punch. Don't ramble. So be willing to reorganize. That's why the editing, the magic is in the editing. So move that to the top. Does it create intrigue? Check all of that. Move to the next part of the email. Is there a story being told? Are you pushing buttons? Are you compelling the buy? Are you in active voice? Use business writing best practices. You're not trying to be a fiction author, right? This is business writing. So business writing best practices work here. Use those. Then move to the offer. How is the offer presented? Are you presenting benefits, not features? Amazing. Are things clear? Is the mechanism clear, or is it confusing? Is the way the offer is presented awkward? Can it be written in a smoother way? Is the whole thing boring to read? You know what I mean? Is there any excitement in there? Can I add more excitement? Is anything unbelievable? Have I put proof in there? Are these claims too big? Am I making a bigger claim, not a better claim? Review it. Then you get to the end where the link is. Hopefully you've only done one link and focused on one, rule of one, right? Then that link, look at the link. Have I built up enough energy to drive the click here? Have I put the click too early? Because what you can do this thing where you put the click too early and it's premature. You've not built enough energy around the click. It's better to move the click lower down, as low as possible, like right to the end actually, than putting it early. And that's kind of your email review mostly. With this done, you can give it another rewrite if you want. It's endless. You can refine it till it's for, writers refine things for days, right? But I'd suggest not do that. Give it one more review and then publish it. You will only get better by publishing and checking the metrics. What are the open rates like? What are the click-through rates like? And then reviewing the emails that do well. That's why this is called copywriting, The version that works becomes the main copy from which all other versions are derived. That's why it's called copy. It's the main copy. The successful text that drives the sale is the main copy. You're looking for that copy and you're trying to create that copy yourself. With that, I think you can go all in on writing your own emails if you want to, or hire a copywriter who's really good at this stuff. The thing about getting a copywriter to write, you can do all of this yourself. The thing about hiring copywriters to do this is that they jump steps. They're like 2-3 steps ahead of you. They know what works already from previous experience and they just deploy it on your stuff. It becomes hard when you have to keep doing this over time because you're doing email marketing forever, right? So you gotta keep sitting and writing every single day, coming up with good hooks, trying out different offers. You can't just say I did it once and that's it. That's when the copy sucks. You have to test out things all the time to get better and find the thing that works. There'll be this magic email that just blew the roof off the building type thing. You're like, wow, what worked? You gotta investigate that, right? So you have to test out things and constantly keep writing. That's why people work with pros. But you have enough to do this yourself. You won't use all of the techniques, right? So if you're sending transactional emails like, hey, your card payment failed, your cart was abandoned, you're not going to use all kinds of hooks and stuff. You're just going to keep it simple. But if you're doing things like re-engagement or nurturing emails, you're going to want to be deploying hooks and tapping into the user research data and being compelling and being persuasive and doing all this copywriting stuff, because that's what the email requires. That's what that's the goal of the sequence. So, what's it called? Case-by-case basis. Use this stuff on a case-by-case basis. I hope that answers a lot of questions for you. If you have more questions or if you want to add to the discussion, the comment section is available to you below. Please, I read everything. Click like on the video because it's going to show you more videos like this on your feed. It's going to show you more videos like ours, other channels, etc. So just click like, it's good for you. And subscribe if you want to keep up with us, what we're doing, etc. This is the Dropkick Copy YouTube channel. Take it easy.